That's wrong. 1 second, everybody. Hello. Welcome to Final Show Films. I'm John, the executive producer here. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you. I just want to do a quick shout out before the show to thank everyone that supports us on Patreon, particularly our $25 tier supporters: Rowan Parker, Trevian Alexander, Samantha Bates, Cat Waterflame, and Elle. Thank you all very much for joining us on this weird journey that we've had over the past few years, and thank you all for continuing to support us in the future. Now, please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And we're live, after I fucked up my intro. Alright, hello everybody, welcome back to Star Wars Twilight Nights. I'm John, your game master for the evening, and joining me today is Jack.
Hey everybody, I'm Jack. I'm playing Jash Ulan, the Chiss Guardian, Sorcerer Defender / Protector.
Why don't I have a... I thought I had a
I don't know, but
Oh,
if
there
you
it
clear
is.
the Destiny pool, I'll roll a light
There it
side
is,
point
yeah.
or a dark side point.
Sorry, no, I was trying to get my thing to work, and I realized that I had it titled Twilight Nights instead of profile cards like I have on every other setup.
Ow.
Just going smoothly today.
Hey, double light side.
Hey, 2 lights
But
on.
better to kill Cassilian with.
Good luck. And
Yeah,
also, Mara.
Hi, I'm Mara. I'm playing Nerese, droid consular healer.
And go ahead and roll your destiny.
Okay. Dark side.
On dark side. Neri stabs Cassilian in the back. And Jeremy.
Hi, sorry. Still trying to explain Jesus Christ Superstar to my sister.
I really need you
hi,
to enunciate the first part of that because it did not sound like Jesus.
What did it sound like?
We'll tell you afterwards.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jeremy. I am playing I don't even remember my fucking character's name right now.
Esty.
Esty, thank you. I am playing Esty, Zeltron Shadow, and let me get into the game so I can roll my fucking destiny.
That's like the least enthused acceptance of the call ever. Like, you've already made it past the refusal of the call and the inciting incident and everything, and now you're just like, well, I guess I'll go roll my fucking destiny. Just like, just,
I got a dark side.
just pull up a gavois, light it up, and walk off camera. All right, and also, as Jeremy becomes French for some reason, and also Holly.
Hi, I'm Holly. I'm playing Avazia. She is a pureblood Sith Geo Berserker.
Roll your destiny.
One dark
boy.
side.
Looking good so far. Thank you for all these dark side points I get to use. And finally, William.
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing Korsarath, the Sith pureblood Makashi duelist. And I will roll a light side.
Evening it up, a 3-3. When last we left off, in a galaxy far, far away a long fucking time ago, 2 of you were infiltrating the back room, the VIP room of the, what was it? The Slippery Slopes Cantina. In an effort to locate a hidden Republic listening post where there were some people interacting with a group of Republic spies hanging out in Shadowtown on the behest of the Empire, who had asked you to track them down in order to get rid of them so that you could yourselves get closer to the other spies that had the information you needed in order to pay for your surgery. Upon finding a secret door in the back room of the VIP club, in the back of the VIP room in the club, it suddenly opened, presenting before you a humanoid figure holding a light blue lightsaber and a blaster towards you that Jash immediately recognizes as Cassilian, the erstwhile communications officer from the ship of the Twilight Knights, the Aeon Cutter. You have a moment of like sort of everything slowing down as it definitely because you know Cassilian won't recognize Esty and Esty won't recognize Cassilian, and
Yep,
you're wearing
there is.
and you're wearing a helmet, Jash. So what's your first reaction?
Helmet comes off and a hand goes up in front of Esty.
Yep,
as I
because there was
and,
reaching.
right, yeah, and I just step in between them.
I'm in the background. I was here too.
Cassilian.
Oh yeah, you're in the room too. That's right.
It has been a while.
The blaster remains trained on SD as the lightsaber moves slightly towards you, and there's a beat, and then it deactivates. Jash?
Jash just does an eyebrow. What
What?
remains of me?
You look like hell. Who's that?
Did not expect to see you here.
Oh,
Click,
Aries.
click, click.
Sorry, I didn't see you. Who? Back to my previous
This
question.
is Esty, who sprung us from Darth Fluxati's influence.
Hi.
Okay. That's not what I expected to find.
You aren't exactly what I expected to find either.
He puts
We are
the
looking for Republic spies here in order to pay the Empire to get a thing we need to pay off to get a surgery. There is a complicated series of exchanges that need to occur.
So looks at Nereus.
They have explosives implanted in them from Darth Fluxati
Right.
that need to be removed.
That certainly makes sense.
This seemed to be the simplest way at the beginning of this operation. I am not so sure now.
Things do complicate in the field, yes.
Just you three?
No.
Corsorath and Avazia are still in our company. They are currently holding the clientele's attention out in the bar.
Yeah, no. We were told that there's a pair of Sith sitting out there having a conversation and a drink. Didn't know it was be them.
Who is we?
Y'all came here hunting Republic spies, right?
You do recall
Yes.
Cassilian's general pursuits. Nereus.
Nereus, you know, Corellian was a member of Corsac, Corellian Security, before he joined the Twilight Order.
Okay. What's that?
So Corellian Security is, and he was also a Green Jedi. So Corellian Security, and more specifically the Green Jedi, are the security forces of the planet Corellia, which the Green Jedi are largely independent from the Jedi proper, because they only really care about keeping Corellia safe, not the galaxy at large.
Yep.
But Corellia is a Republic planet, or was until it came under the control of the Empire. You have no idea what its current status is. At the very least, when you all went into the fugue state, it was under control of the Empire. So, Cassilian being Corsac, if he left the Twilight Order, very easily could get back into working with the Republic, particularly Republic intelligence.
Got it. Okay. Right.
Yeah, us. Okay. I can spin a couple different things. You're not good at lying, he says, pointing at Neres. Points at Jash. You're not good at lying. Points at Esty. Are you good at lying?
Exceptionally.
What he said.
Okay.
And I'm not good at lying.
No, you're not. He says, pointing at Josh.
What are you thinking?
Well, see, I'm already on a kind of a thin rope with Republic intelligence. Having left the Republic for the past several years, and then suddenly coming back when things started getting real. So, I need to come up with a plausible reason to invite a bunch of not Republic-aligned Force users in for a chat. Particularly 2 Sith. So... Can y'all get a message to them without walking out there yourselves?
Now with the jammers on us.
I was going to say, most of us are currently wearing jammers to try and make sure that our implanted explosives don't get signals from anywhere.
I'm the exception, but unfortunately that creates a problem in that they have the jammer. So even if they had a communicator, I can use my communicator. You know how it works.
Y'all didn't establish any sort of like a hand sign or physical code for the fact that you couldn't communicate across long distances?
No.
Cool.
Unless we want to spend a destiny point and say we did.
And would you like to spend a destiny point and say you did?
Yeah, let's do that.
Flip that destiny
That
point.
seems like a good plan.
Flip that destiny point and say yes.
Cool.
Yes, we have established some
Oh.
basic.
Oops.
I already used it.
Well, why'd you do that?
Because I was the one who said it first.
I will be nice and give you back one.
Cool.
I mean, if we spend 2 destiny points, can we all just have telepathy?
No.
Okay, never mind then.
All right,
We
cool.
established some basic signals.
So
Yes.
let them know you're okay and to go with whatever happens next.
Absolutely.
Right. I would like to insight check him.
Sure.
This
give me,
is-
give me
It's been a while.
give me a-
I'm nervous.
give me a cool check.
Okay. If he's lying to me, it is more difficult for him to lie.
Difficulty
FYI.
2.
Diff 2. Okay.
Meanwhile, Josh will go stand in the doorway.
He's not lying to you. He hasn't said anything yet.
Okay.
Well, as to whether or not he's trustworthy, you're pretty confident he is.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna trust him.
He hasn't actually said anything that is a true or false statement. He has
Yep,
just asked
yeah.
you to do
I
it.
meant more on the sense of like, is he
Yeah.
wanting to actually cooperate with? Is
Yeah.
this a trap that he's leading?
It
us
doesn't
into?
seem like it's a trap.
Okay. Cool.
You do know but particularly with 4 successes, he doesn't seem to be. He seems more in his element than he was on board the Aeon Cutter. Like this, like as sort of like off balance as he is behaving, he seems to be very much in control.
Okay.
And Josh will go stand in the doorway and signal who's looking towards us, Avazia or Corsarath?
Probably Corsarath.
Okay.
Here's the question. Which one of you would have your back to the door?
Corsarath would have his back to the door, knowing that Avazia would have it.
Holly?
like the door in.
Yeah, which door?
The door into the cantina.
Into the canteen?
Holly, would Havasia prefer to watch the door coming into the cantina or watch the crowd already in the cantina?
She would probably watch the door.
Watch the door.
Coming
Okay,
in.
so then
Yeah.
then Corserath would be the one looking towards the door that you're all at.
Okay. So yeah, Jash will step out into the doorway and signal probably whatever the Jedi equivalent of, 2 curveballs to the inside and then a fastball straight down the middle.
At which point Corserath, because with his breather grill on, so obviously it's not possible to read his lips, will just sort of mutter to Avazia, "It looks like things are about to get interesting. Play along."
Good interesting or bad interesting?
Josh is signaling us interesting, so we'll find out.
Could mean a number of
But
things.
we're okay, so
Back in the hallway after that, Gazillion. Okay. You 3 come with me. You are sleeper agents that have been working on turning a few high-profile Sith targets to the light side and the Jedi way. You've brought them here so that they could meet with me specifically as a liaison because of my relative connections to the outside place and to the outside, and also because of my recent history as being a neutral individual between the Republic and the Empire, in order to provide some sort of liaison between them and the others. I will make a show of bringing them in as they are under arrest for people outside, but the listening post will understand that they are here to turncoat, not to kill. Sound good? Good. Let's go. And he turns and walks down the hallway.
I look at Josh and like, so basically, literally the exact opposite of what I normally do up until now. Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, following along.
So,
And yep, right behind.
Cillian leads you down down this hallway, and which very quickly hits into what seems to be some sort of maintenance traversal area with a sort of a ladder that he just sort of reaches out, grabs the side of, puts a foot on, down we go, and then just lets his feet go to the sides as he slides down the rail of this ladder, looking back up.
Dragon Age style.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Looking back up as he goes, "I'm not sure what you do, dearies, but see you down here." As he slides out of view.
Right. Okay.
Maybe we just had this issue with ladders in the past.
I have a solution. I took a moment. It takes a little bit. I'm going to use move. I can move myself now, damn it.
You gotten the strength upgrade so you can move larger
yeah,
objects.
He's just going to carefully hang on and slowly descend using the force. So I don't touch the ladder really. I just hold on. I have my manipulators around it just in case it fails. But I am not touching the ladder. Yes.
Right. Go ahead and roll me a force power.
Sure. Yeah, I'll flip Destiny to be able to use that.
Take a point of conflict.
Sure.
Importantly, I'm checking some information.
Sure.
Esneries drops like 3 stories into
So
Dura Creek.
there's nothing that says that you can't move yourself with move.
Cool.
Importantly.
Nope.
You do have to spend a point for each silhouette.
Okay.
1 point
But
that you move something that's silhouette 0. You need 2 points to move something that's silhouette 1.
Oh shit, I need okay.
So as you begin to move and focus on the force and take that point of conflict, I need you to make me a roll.
Right?
It's gonna be an athletics roll.
Shit.
Difficulty 3, because you weren't expecting it.
Yeah. Fair. All right. Cassilia better be out of the way down there. That's all I'm saying.
It's just gonna be a bowling ball of a droid coming down.
Yeah, because my
Meanwhile,
athletics has one right.
Meanwhile-
It's one.
the other two of you,
Yep.
Wow.
you watch.
Yeah.
You watch as Nereis hovers very slightly, focusing. Slowly moves out over the gap, turns, grabs the rail, and then drops as they do not have the strength to sustain themselves in the air. You can if Nereis had a face, you would have been able to see the moment where the face went from "I've got this" to "oh shit."
I mean, I'm viewing this very Looney Tunes, where like when you run off
Yeah,
the
yeah.
cliff for a while, you
Right.
stay in the air for a little bit until you
that's
realize.
exactly what
Yep.
happened.
And
Now, with the 2 successes, you managed to grab a hold of the rail firmly and use that to slow your descent. With the
There's a screeching sound.
with the 3 threats, though, there's not just a screeching sound. There is a clink, 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 as you instinctively stick out one of your legs, one of your very claw-like legs, to
Yep.
get the railing of the ladder and just split each rung as you go down. Eventually, you slow yourself down, getting stuck. Halfway down the ladder, all the rest of the rungs have been broken. This
You
is now
just
no
hear-
longer a ladder.
You just hear from the top after beat, "You're doing great, sweetie."
Fuck.
This is now a pair of very awkward stilts bolted to the wall.
Hey, they're bolted to the wall. We can use them as a climbing pole.
But you eventually manage to get the rest of the way down because you did get 2 successes. And so you don't take any damage. You've just wrecked this ladder.
Cool.
Cassilian is sitting down at the bottom looking at you. Yep, that's Nereis.
Josh just looks at SD. First or second?
I mean, there's 2 poles here.
You make a valid point. He'll take the left one.
Yep.
Make me athletics checks, both of you. Difficulty 1,
I'm
because you
gonna use
only have...
enhance.
Yeah. Difficulty 1, because you both have 2 hands that you are using for 1 pole.
SD momentarily considers jumping on Josh's back as a joke.
Fuck you.
You said athletics.
Athletics difficulty 1.
I can roll athletics. This is a thing that I can do.
So 1 success, 1 advantage in my case.
Mhm. All right.
2 successes and 1 advantage.
Yeah, both of you kick off and grab onto a pipe and slide down. You both also move your feet out of the way halfway down so you don't break them on the remaining rungs.
She gets to the bottom. I'm sliding down a pole on Nar Shaddaa. This brings back memories.
Been there, Cassilian says as he turns away.
Josh turns to Nerys. Have we considered getting back up?
No, I have not thought that far ahead.
Just checking. Let's continue.
There's a bit that one leg is sort of like half a second slow in reacting to your commands now. It's not enough to make you like any slower, but you do notice
Yeah.
it.
Uh-huh.
Needs some
Josh will just sort of
repairs.
pat Nerys on the shoulder.
that servo needs to be realigned now.
Got an actuator loose there.
There's just the occasional zhik click, zhik click, zhik click.
All right, where's Cassilian taking us now?
It's a fairly short walk to a set of blast doors that open up, and inside you see about a half dozen Republic agents. It's very similar sort of to the listing post layout that you saw on the Imperial side. As he walks in, you do notice that there is one other figure in there that is wearing sort of it's a humanoid female, not strictly speaking human, but definitely in that sort of genotype of human, with blonde hair, some forehead and face ridges, blue eyes, and wearing a heavy brown robe with sort of white armor underneath it, like sort of on the chest and around the bracers, with a lightsaber at the hip.
Would identifying the species be a xenology roll?
Yes, it would be a xenology.
Difficulty
2.
Oh,
I do that
Got it.
too.
Sure.
ignore the force die, but 3 successes.
1.
Triumph. And a fail.
With a triumph, so you at least don't misidentify. Looking at it, like you're not able to firmly identify what species this is. You can tell that it seems to be some sort of an offshoot somewhere between Syrians and Keldorans, as far as humanoids are concerned. They have a face and they don't have a tower, so it's not strictly speaking either, but the deformation, the sort of the ridged deformation makes you sort of put you somewhere in that phenotype. For all that means for people who are non-Star Wars fans. So if you're not Star Wars fans, why are you watching this series?
Maybe they're trying to learn.
Maybe.
In fairness, if you want to learn about Star Wars, I feel like there's some widely available media out there that you can watch to do so.
But we're free.
Yeah.
That's true.
To say.
Fair
Also-
point. Fair point.
Also more entertaining.
Than some of it, yes.
Also significantly more queer.
Than most of it, yes.
Factually true.
Yeah.
Try all of it.
All of it.
Anyways,
Look, Poe and Finn. I don't care.
I don't know. Finpo definitely canon. I don't give a shit.
Hell yeah. Yep.
Yes.
In my
Okay.
universe.
So, sorry,
Finpo is
I'm.
canon.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
If the actors said it, I'm game.
Exactly. Yeah, and they did.
Side note, how sad is it that every fucking Disney film, we only have that to rely on?
Yeah.
Every single one.
Anyways.
I'm looking at you, Cruella.
Haven't seen it yet.
It's good, but yeah.
Anyways, yeah, some sort of humanoid. Not strictly speaking identifiable. Definitely, probably a planetary, probably more of a planetary offshoot than a xenobiological offshoot.
Okay.
Anyways, and also carrying a lightsaber, probably a Jedi.
You think?
Cassilian walks in with his sort of usual bravado. Hey everybody, how you doing? Good keeping an eye on everybody and in Nar Shaddaa on this incredibly illegal listing post that we got here. Hey boss, as he says over towards the Jedi and walks over.
This incredibly illegal listing post that we've got here.
He's Corellian. What's what they do? They just sort of talk as they walk.
I'm fine. How are you?
Corellians, the space Italians. they have a quick, quiet back and forth conference, which is mostly punctuated by him being animated and her not being. Before the two of them walk back over. Right, so, like I was telling you, I've been working on a little bit of a side project. These are my compatriots that have been working on, greasing palms, greasing wheels, lots of grease everywhere, trying to do their best to get us a couple of turncoats, a couple of folks that might not be so happy with the way the Empire is being running for either personal or ethical. Can't say that word. It's weird. Gains and coming over to our side, and they happen to have gotten a little bit of a bite. This is my buddy Jash. They're good.
Tilts the head.
They're good protocol droid. He says, looking at Nereis and slightly overpronouncing the words, Nereis, and my other good friend.
I've already forgotten her name.
Indicating towards Esty.
Hi,
I told him.
I'm
her
a
name.
friend. No, she's rolling with this.
Oh yeah.
Greetings.
Did you tell him her name?
Yeah, we said
Yes.
SD was the very first thing he said.
Cool. Yeah, he forgot.
Fine.
It happens.
Make a cool check, Esty.
Okay.
Difficulty 2.
I will happily do so as soon as I reopen the tab for roll 20 that I just closed.
Phew. Well,
Oops.
shit.
All right. 2, you said?
Yeah, diff 2.
I'm not awful at these. We'll see how this goes.
Wow.
Sorry, the dice hate
All
you.
failure and one was all advantage.
You have more dice to roll than difficulty.
Sometimes it happens, man.
And the two dice just didn't
I'd
interact
like
with
you-
each other.
I would like to introduce you to how I roll dice, John.
It's true. Yeah, no, the dice had nothing to do with each other.
Yep.
They passed each other on a street, went, nice day, isn't it?
Yeah. You stay in your lane, we're staying in our lane. It's
It's the
fine.
Umbrella Academy season 2 all over again.
Oh,
Just walked right past each other on that roll.
that shit annoyed me so much in that season.
I haven't watched season 2 yet. But anyway.
It's real good, but
It's excellent.
fucking drove me goddamn nuts.
So with 3 failures, but 4 successes, you get
For
the sense
advantages.
4 advantages. You get the sense that he's trying to prompt you for something, and you're not sure what. You don't think he's actually forgotten your name, but there's a reason why he's not saying your name specifically. It's just the way he said it. The way he said it was not the way someone who is good at lying says it. He's trying to act like he's bad at lying.
Okay.
That's all you get.
As I said before,
Yeah.
hi.
Yep.
I'm a friend.
The woman sort of looks at you quizzically, looks over at Cillian. And your friend's name? Looks up at her and sort of grins. It's Esty. Jash, make a cool roll. Difficulty 2.
Okay.
I have almost certainly murdered. I'm almost certainly known to have murdered somebody.
Oh,
By someone in
God!
One
this
failure,
room.
one disadvantage.
I am almost certain that this is the case at this point.
Oh God.
Everything seems fine, Josh.
Yeah. I've got a helmet on. Nobody can see my face, so if I'm making any weird expressions, that's okay.
I'm just gonna make a roll here real quick.
Yes, please do. Please make a roll real quick.
The idea this entire operation can be foiled just by like a handful of dice rolls.
I mean, role playing games.
I mean, yes. Whatever you rolled for was
Yeah, I rolled a failure. Well,
apparently the dice just don't think anyone is doing anything today.
well. Pleasure to meet you, and according to Cassilian, it seems you've had some success with our little bit of bait.
Yes,
Nod.
absolutely.
That is correct.
He looks over at him. This might be a very good start on your reputation, Cassilian. We'll give you access to the guest quarters for your conversation. He winks at her, thumbs up. Cool. I'll go ahead and lead them over there, and then I'll go get our guests of honor. We're gonna go with a We're gonna go with a plan C. She nods. He thumbs up to the rest of them. Starts sort of gestures towards you all to follow as he walks towards the door, and just picks a random person on one of the computers and goes, "Hey, you. Good job keeping this place a secret from the Huts that will definitely kill us if they find out about it." And he walks out the door.
That man was playing Galaga.
The person that he pointed at seems very unnerved at the moment. Do you all follow him?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Door closes behind him. Well, I'm glad no one knows your name, Esty, he says as he sort of scratches his forehead and moves down the hallway.
Oh, was that what were you trying to get me to come up with a?
I was going to let you decide if you wanted to use your real name or not, because I don't know how well known you are.
I mean, that's fair. Next time, perhaps you mention that possibility before you make the dramatic leap down the stairwell. I'm just saying. We had time to figure that out.
Yeah, I'm used to people thinking on their feet real quick.
I'm happy to think on my feet or wherever else, but you have to be able to give signals that are readable. I don't know how to say that differently. Anyways, fine. Apparently they don't, because I'm not dead.
It's a good thing.
Or they're not dead.
In here. And he opens a side door just off from that first one. Inside is what seems like almost like a, you would call it like an office. There's like a desk with a terminal in it. A couple different chairs, a side counter that has some refreshments set on it. He walks in, doesn't say anything, just sort of points towards the ceiling as he turns his back to the room, and just looks at the group of you, points at the ceiling meaningfully, looks up, then looks back at you. So anyways, wait here. I want to go get our friends, and then we're going to have a conversation.
Monitored terminal?
No, there's no one monitoring that. As he looks back at you and nods.
Excellent. Thank you.
And he will step out of the room. Doors behind you.
Josh is going to look up towards the ceiling and see if there's anything visible, or if it looks like it's either concealed and or just auditory monitoring.
Make a either a perception check, difficulty 3, or a underworld check, difficulty 2.
I'll go underworld, I think. God damn, what is with dice tonight?
You look up. You don't see anything specific.
Okay.
You're not 100% certain where it might be hidden, but you did pick up on the clues that there's some
Mhm.
sort of monitoring.
Yep. We should probably keep our allies updated as best we can.
It's a good idea.
Having firepower of that caliber in orbit. We wouldn't want anybody to get excited.
Yes. Is there question real quick because I don't know droid stuff. Is there a way for me to send a message over a comm with silently or not?
Only if you have an internal built comm.
Okay. I mean, my comm is internally built. I just have the suppressor on right now. But if I take that off, can I send?
Yeah, if your comm is internal, yeah, you could send without making noise.
Okay.
We can't get it though.
They're not talking about you.
No, yeah, we're not sending it to you. We'd be sending it to like the pyramid and
Yeah.
other guy's name.
Ronan.
Yeah, Ronan. We'd be sending it to them.
That
Let
is
them
not
know
who
where we
Josh
are.
was talking about, but okay.
Oh, it's not? Okay. That's what I was
You
thinking.
can do what you want, Aries.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that actually.
Yeah.
Josh is not good at talking around.
We are the best spies. Okay. We're so
This is
doomed.
only gonna end well.
This is gonna end terribly. Yeah, I'll take off my suppressor and send a message then. Ran into Cassilian. Found the rebel. I'm trying to remember what they know of the situation. I think we had told them where we were going, like when we went.
They knew you were going
Yeah.
to the Shadow Town. That's all they know.
Yes. Ran into Cassilian here with a Republic with the Republic group. I'm still trying to keep it vague just in case they can pick up these things. With the Republic group, they're Josh, Esty, and I are with him now. They're bringing in Avasia and Korsrath shortly. Hopefully going to get a nice collaboration here. If you don't hear back in a day, then things have not gone well. That's the end of the message.
Make a perception check.
Okay.
Difficulty 4.
Oh boy, okay. Perception.
You have light side if you want to bend it.
I'm good.
One
I got a
success.
success.
As you're sending the message, you hear a little bit of static. This teeny tiny bit of feedback. There's no response.
Does that feel like static from my end of things or static on the I'm not sure what I'm trying to figure out what that means.
With two threats, you have no idea.
Okay.
You just know
All right.
there is a bit of static feedback when you sent the message that you hear internally.
Got it.
So it's coming through the comm, whatever it is. It's coming through the comm link.
Okay. All right. I put the suppressor back on. Just look at the rest of them.
Yeah. So Nereus very quietly just sort of stood off to one side for a moment and started looking back at the other two of you.
Yep.
Anything else?
And then I am going to take my a small toolkit out and begin trying to fix my damn leg.
Make a mechanics check, difficulty 2. Anybody else doing anything in the room at the moment?
Not at the moment.
Nope. Yeah, just holding.
Yeah, you managed to get that that gear knocked back into place.
Oh, good.
So it's no longer hanging. Meanwhile, up top in the casino or in the cantina, as the lovely jizz music continues to play, wailing on that jizz.
You're in the middle of the casino. The casino mission, which, as we all know, is the most popular missions in Star Wars.
When one of the doors off to one side opens up, and the two of you see Cassilian walking out, flanked by 4 what look to be civilian clothes Republic troopers. They look to be civilian clothes Republic troopers because while they are a variety of different species, they have basically the same outline as your Imperial squad standing outside.
Everyone here is just as bad at laying low.
So great.
And they sort of walk up to your table. Cillian leans down. Well, looks like we've got a pair of turncoats that have come to do the right thing for once, he says to the two of you, leaning a little bit heavy on the word turncoat, but not so much as to make it obvious. Would the two of you care to join us for a bit of conversation?
Of course, Wrath just kind of slides the drink that he had been having to one side of the table. Why, my good officer? Of course, if there's anything that you'd like to discuss.
Well then, shall you come with us and we'll show you a little bit of good old Republic hospitality.
He stands up. You know, this is familiar, he says, looking at the poorly concealed Republic troopers.
Vazia, hand on her weapon, stands up.
Cassilian sort of meets your gaze and just sort of shakes it slightly.
Takes hand off weapon, follows.
And he will turn and the troopers will sort of fall in line around you and are escorted.
If you're aiming for subtlety, you could at least not be in an actual formation.
One of the troopers looks at the group of them, looks at you, and in an alien language that you do understand, gives you the equivalent of not what I'm paid for.
I am feeling so much deja vu.
Yeah, you can sort of feel the sort of cosmic frustration that Cassilian has at the moment. He's a private eye surrounded by beat cops, and it's just like, you are escorted back into the room the door came from. Nobody in the cantina bats an eye. None of them even look at you twice now, as you're surrounded by these Republic troopers, giving you a little bit more of an idea as to why they feel comfortable operating so openly in this particular cantina. As you step through a VIP door, very quickly they walk you over to what seems to be a broom closet, open it up, step in, and you find you're in an elevator.
They get an elevator.
Well, yeah, they
Well, yeah,
yes, they go.
Very special.
They're going in the front door, not the secret back door.
well, also, the service entrance is currently broken. Out of order, they call it.
Yeah. As the elevator comes to a stop, you head out into what appears to be a series of maintenance corridors. Off to one side, you see sort of you see a pair of droids. So these are maintenance droids. By the look of them, they're sort of like that square boxy and have a bunch of variety of equipment, staring at a ladder that seems to have been split down the middle about halfway by something. And they're just sort of like looking up at it, scratching their heads, trying to figure out how they're going to get up to where they need to fix it. As you walk past. Eventually, you come to a pair of doors, one on the left, one on the right. Cassilian indicates the one on the right, which opens up, and he gestures for the two of you to go in ahead of him.
Yep.
You enter into an empty room. As he turns to the troopers, y'all can just hang out in the hallway. We got this. He walks over into the room. Door closes behind him. As the door closes behind him, in the other room that the other three of you are in, on the far wall, a monitor blinks to light. And you realize that you are on the other side of the two-way glass, as it were.
Very nice.
As you are in an observation office. And the monitor is showing you another room that Cassilian, Avasia, and Corserath are in.
Usually I'm on the other side of this.
Did anyone bring any snacks?
I have emergency rations. I will
Not
open
exactly
up
what I was thinking, but thank you for the offer.
a foil packet. It's like an MRE.
Cassilian
this-
sort of... Okay.
Nothing.
Cassilian gestures to the table in the middle of the room that has 3 seats at it. Please feel free to take a seat. As he moves over to one of the counters and begins to manipulate something over on this counter, while also at the same time it seems like he's preparing some sort of drink for you.
Corserath very pointedly sits down in one of the seats and kicks his feet up onto the table, puts his arms behind his head.
Avasia stands.
Okay.
Just
Please take a seat. We're probably going to be having a long conversation.
She continues to stand.
Fair enough. He moves over to the table, sets down a mug, a couple of bits of food. He sits down at one of the other seats, leans back, kicks his feet up in a very similar fashion to what Corserath has done, and doesn't say anything. He puts his hand over his mouth with 2 fingers. Looks at the two of you. Reaches underneath the table. Fiddles with something. The other 3, make a perception check for me. Difficulty 4.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. So my nose starts bleeding from all the psychic damage I take, but I
Nope.
did see something.
I see something and take significantly less psychic damage.
Curious, you have no idea what's going on.
Yep.
Josh and Esty, you both notice after he reaches down and sort of adjusts something after he sort of like sits down and leans back on the table, puts his feet up and adjusts something, the figures on the screen begin having a conversation. You can't really make out what's being said, but there is like sort of a there's sort of like a text scroll that has things going on, and it looks like from your initial glance, it looks like it's just sort of a monitoring of their conversation with a translator at the bottom. But as you're sort of watching it for a little bit, you realize that the things that are being said are very, very generic, to the point where you don't believe they're actually saying any of this, even though to your eyes, what you are seeing and what the text is saying is telling you that they are having conversation. You don't believe what they're saying. You don't believe that this is real. You're not certain how, but you don't believe this is real. Meanwhile, in the other room. Okay, so we've got a little bit of time before that particular protocol loops, and we have to start talking for realsies. Well, for realsies, as if we were actually having an interrogation. So you can talk freely now. Hi, good to see that the two of you are alive, and the others as well. What the fuck are you doing here?
Working on doing a job so that we can get explosive devices removed from our bodies.
Yeah, no, I got that much from the others. What the fuck are you doing here?
In
There,
this particular place?
this planet, this area.
This hideout.
Yes, that one.
Specifically looking for what was the specific computer information that, or did they just want the location or just the?
They wanted the Sith Empire wanted the location and any information you could get on this particular listening post, so they could basically use it to either leverage or turn into the Hutts. So you don't know exactly what they want to do with that information, but the information that they want is the location.
The Empire wants the information of this place's location, as well as any computer data they could find on it to potentially leverage it against the Republic for having an illicit base here in the middle of the promenade. What we're here for personally is a set of data information regarding Republic agents operating in Shadowtown who have stumbled across the information feed of a local Gand doctor.
Oh god, those idiots. Setting appropriate epithet. Right. So, fuck. They've been made, but I can't warn them that they've been made without tipping the hand to your boss that you've been made. This is a lovely pickle. Right. So, bring it up to speed. You are turncoats now in the eyes of the Republic. That you have been turned by my agents, the other three, and convinced to come in here and have a conversation with me where you're going to sell me some Sith Empire secrets. That would be, if you have any of those, by the way, be really useful.
I was going to say, on the other side, the plus side of this whole thing is we actually have a bunch of Sith secrets to sell, so we're covering really well.
We do actually, in fact, have a very important Sith secret to sell.
That's good. That's good. That's good. What is it?
Are you familiar with the operation that the Republic is attempting to free some of their prisoners from Shadowtown?
Yes.
So is the Empire.
Ah, they've been made real hard, haven't they? Okay. That's good information. 1 minute. In character. As he sort of like leans back and adopts that same pose that he had previously. Those of you in the other room watch the figure sort of. There's like a visual glitch in the feed, and it continues as normal. Now, though, you are getting a text feed of the following bits of conversation.
Okay.
So, what you're saying is that in return for safe transport, maybe even some Jedi redemption training and all that other good stuff, you're going to tell us about some sort of secret operation that you've got information on happening in Shadowtown. Am I just getting that clear? Is that right?
That would be his gist of it, yes.
Well, I think that's probably a deal I can swing some positive points for. I'll talk to my boss, obviously, but no, we're very interested in anything that's going on in Shadowtown. Anyways, and he fiddles with something under the table again, and the scene continues for those of you in the other room, but the text has gone back to being fairly generic.
Okay.
And by this point, you're able to put together that he's basically he is looping a fake
He's
feed.
live editing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's sort of live editing the feed in such a way that he's being realistic enough that anybody watching it closely will be able to tell that it's real. But for those of you that caught it at the beginning, you're able to tell exactly what's happening. Sort of with. All right, that gives us a few more minutes. So we're being watched. We're also being listened to. Fortunately, the listening in this room is a universal translator, so I can sort of fuck with it a little bit. Your friends, I hope, were able to catch on to the fact that they have actual like auditory bugs in that room. The way I was talking, I'm not certain. They don't seem to be the sharpest trio, but
Yes. What we really need is just to have the Republic stop handling that Gan doctor's data so that he can have what he wants and get the explosive devices out of us. Our way of doing that has been working with the Empire.
right, we haven't been able to get a whole lot of conversation out of the team in Shadowtown. They've mostly just been sending status updates. They haven't sent any large packets of data, so I don't know what the fuck data they've got. So if we want to get your data back, we're going to have to get them out safely. Because I don't know where they've stored it otherwise. And you're working with the 5th. They send you by yourselves?
No, they sent us with a tank unit.
Wasn't clear. I wasn't clear enough when I said, "Are you by your? Are you all?" They just said that there were you two. They didn't say that there was also a tank unit. Ah, I'm going to work on my people skills.
They're a tank unit with no tank, so
Oh, so they're
about as effective as the soldiers that walked us down here.
so very deadly, but not very bright. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
And without a tank, they've been bored for a while and want to fire at something.
Exactly.
Tell me they don't have a bazooka.
They do.
Damn it.
As we hear somewhere off in the distance a muffle, boom!
No, unless they want to start a war, they're not going to start shooting anything. But
The captain did have
I'm
to
not putting
make
that
someone
past-
stop racking their gun twice.
okay, they might start shooting.
His name's
things.
Jordy.
Yeah.
I need to get you out of here so that you can. Okay, playtime. He leans back again. In the other room, you see the. All right, so I think we can probably convince a bit of leniency, at least on our part, particularly considering that we're not supposed to be here. So, I can probably convince them to let you walk out of the cantina. Let's say, let me go run this by my boss, and then we'll see what we can get for you. In the meantime, just sort of, just sit here, keep tight, enjoy the food, drink. It's promised and not poisoned. We like to treat our guests fairly. As he stands up, you see him retrieve something from underneath the desk, but he very carefully palms it so that it's not visible. All right, be back in a few minutes. And he heads towards the door. Door opens. Leave the two of you in one room, and the three of you in another.
Josh is just going to sit in silence, and if anybody tries to talk to him, he's just going to raise a finger to the mouth of his helmet, because he might not be the sneakiest motherfucker, but he's smart enough to know when he's being listened to.
Right.
Well, seems to be going well.
Yep. Sure is.
Course
Very
Wrath and Vasia. Oh,
confused.
good. Course Wrath and Vasia.
Corsair just leans back in the chair and waits. Let's see how this plays out, shall we?
Ozzy will nod. She just stands there in silence, not eating or drinking anything.
Corsair will take the cup and just take the breather, the lower half of his helmet off just enough to take a sip. Doesn't like the taste, sets it down. Republic coffee.
Have enough orphan blood in it for me. All right. So after about 30 minutes.
Oh, that's too long.
Okay, Neres. How long do you wait,
No.
Neres?
Oh no.
Oh,
That is too long.
How long do you?
What do you do, and when do you do it?
How long do you sit in silence, Neres?
I begin pacing around the room. I am just checking my leg. It is functional now. This is good. Do you think they will have ladders to get back up out of here? Why do they not have a ramp? This would be more useful. If you have a nice ramp without any safety rails, then you can get anything of any size up and to where it needs to go. This is much more efficient.
You can also get whatever your it's not defensible.
This
It's
is
not
meant to
nearly
be hard
as
to get to.
defensible.
Right.
But I'm a tripod, you see.
Yes.
Yes, that's a feature, not a bug.
You know what else are
Well,
tripods?
now it's a bug.
You know what else are tripods?
That one, no,
Yep,
that's not a
yes.
bug. That somebody opened up the computer and took a wrench to the inside.
Are we locked in here?
Currently.
Yes,
Have you tried to open the door?
almost,
I tried the door.
Doesn't open.
almost certainly we are.
We
Click,
are
click.
locked.
Yep.
Patience.
Just
There he is.
just chill. We're good.
This
Take a rest
time
cycle.
to See what the Force tells you.
Let me put it this way. You're stressed, right? This is a tense situation.
There is much.
What can you do about it right now?
He's like, I have a lightsaber. This is a door.
Internally, yes. Externally, nothing. I cannot conduct my purpose.
So don't worry about it. What's going to happen is going to happen. There's nothing we can do to change what's going to happen next. We can just react to what happens next.
Do you make it the rest of the 30 minutes, Neres?
Mm. Yes, I take the suppressor off though. I have it off for the rest of this.
All right. After 30 minutes, the doors
going-
to the... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I am going to send another I can receive messages now to the to our air support.
Okay.
And just wait.
No response.
Yep.
The doors open, The doors, specifically the doors to the room that Avasia and Korsarath are in, are open. All right, so I think the information that you have is going to be a very good deal. Go ahead and just clearly let me know what's going on.
Does the I'm trying to think he obviously hasn't like brought the signal jammer back in with him.
Correct.
Okay.
At least he hasn't adjusted it if it is on his person.
Yeah. Well, it would appear that your compatriot's operation within Shadowtown, the plan to locate and free your friend within the prison complex. Well, if I know about it, then
The Empire knows about it. And so, just to, lay all the cards on the table, this information is in return for us providing you sanctuary and free passage into Republic space.
indeed.
Well, my higher-ups are interested in the offer. They wanted to verify the quality of your information. I told them it was good. They've just gotten their verification. I'm expecting a signal momentarily. There's a beeping sound. He sort of pulls a comlink off his belt, looks at it. All right, we're going to be arranging safe passage for you off Nar Shaddaa. It's going to take a few days. You want to stay here, or do you have a place you can lie low? And as he says, do you have a place you can lie low, he just goes,
Yes, we have elsewhere to be.
all right, well, we don't want to make it look like we're kidnapping respectable Sith Imperial citizens, so we're going to let you go with an escort. Going to see if I can get my my associates to escort you. So just sit tight for a few more minutes. We'll be back and get you heading on your way. With, of course, some paperwork for you to sign. He says as he pulls out a data pad. Tosses it to you, expecting you to catch it. Let's go ahead and look over that. This terms the contract, terms the agreement. Also, an incentive. If you're willing to accept the deal, put your thumbprint on it.
I read over it.
He walks out of the room. Do you have any pithy one-liners to throw at him before he gets out the door? Come on, you know the correct response to that statement.
May the force be with you.
All right. Door
No,
closes.
I wish I did.
It's if you like the deal, look over it, and if I don't,
Yeah.
if you like the deal, sign it, and if I don't, well, hope you enjoy sales, and leaves.
I mean, to be fair, that's not a pithy statement. That's a setup for
Fair.
them to make a pithy statement.
Also fair. Anyways, door closes. After a few moments, as you're reading over the, basically it is an agreement of passage. They are agreeing to provide you with a ship and a crew to get you to the Inner Republic worlds, specifically Coruscant, where you will be sort of viewed by the Jedi Council to determine your earnest desires to turn over a new leaf and seek redemption. In addition, there is a monetary reward of 100,000 Republic credits.
You wouldn't happen to have left the information that we're actually looking for on this data pad as beneath the incentive, would he?
The incentives that seemed to have been, he was referring to the 100,000 Republic credits.
I will press accept signature on the data pad.
There's room for two.
Slide the data pad over to Avazia.
She will look it over, do the same.
The other door opens, Caecilian walks in. No, it's fine. I got him. Door closes. He reaches his belt, grabs something, pulls it out. Looks like a little pyramid-like shape, and just sort of twists a little bit. And there is a static feeling in the room. All right, cool. So all the surveillance in this room just had a power outage. It'll come back on in about 5 minutes. So really quickly, I don't know if you were watching or paying attention to the monitor there, but we're gonna let Avasia and Corsorath walk out, and we have given them an offer of free passage. The three of you are going to be assigned as their escorts, effectively. As you know, more embedded Republic spy, working on the up and up under my control kind of thing. Here, and he hands each of you a small, data chit about this big. This is in confirmation of your identity as a Republic agent, with contact information for me specifically as your controller and as your ranking officer. If you use this in such a way that gets a bounty on my head, I will come after you. Otherwise, feel free to use it wherever you need, okay?
Right.
Question. What happens when we get to the point where we're done with this cover?
Yeah, where they're no longer heading into the Republic. I'm gonna have to figure out a very big distraction for that. But that's on me.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna
Pirates usually work.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna die some sort of glorious death. It won't be the first time I faked my death.
I mean, that's fair, and I'm glad you've got a plan.
When you
What
are
I'm
dead-
asking is this putting how much of a crosshair is this putting on us from the Republic side?
You three? None. Those two? No more than they already had.
For being Sith, yeah.
All right.
This is going to get us what we need in order to get the explosives out, though.
I mean, if you show that to the team in the field, they will definitely help you.
All right.
The thing we need is their location.
If I had their location, I'd give it to you.
I'm not there.
Well,
He's
the team in the
talking
field-
he's talking to them.
Yeah, sorry, out of character, but the team in the field also has the GAN's data.
Correct.
So
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah.
would be
That's the
So
team in the
basically,
field is what we need.
He's
but we need
given
their
us
location.
right. We need to find the team in the field, and
Yeah.
then Caecilian's
so
given
it's
us
more
the
we need
credentials
more
we
than
need.
just their location. We need both, ideally.
We need both ideally, but we still need their location. That's the thing we don't have right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have. If I had their location, I'd give it to you. Unfortunately, again, we've only been getting bursts of communication from them as updates. We haven't been getting any firm big data drops or anything like that. So we don't know where they are exactly. We just know what their mission is. And thanks to you guys, we now know that there is an attempt to stop it. So we might be able to get them out alive. The information that they have, what I told Corsorath and Vasia, the information that they have, we do not know. We also do not have it here. They have it. So if you want it, we're going to have to get them out alive.
Well, we have to shed one escort then.
Well, you can feel free to give your other employers our location. We were about to move base anyways. It's not going to be particularly useful. But it will complete your mission for them, and that'll at least get you in good with the Empire. I've already given you proof that you're in good with the Republic.
Okay.
How you use those is up to you guys, but
When you move locations, how intact do you generally leave your previous?
not at all. This is gonna be a this is gonna be a maintenance shed in about 2 days.
I'm speaking on the demolition side of things.
Oh, we can't just blow shit up in Narshada.
All right.
Yeah, they tend to piss off Hut.
Yeah, this is rental. He says, pointing up.
Very well.
We have a lease.
All right then.
All right. Well, and 5, 4, 3, 2, and you hear a as things come back on. All right. So the group of you are going to be the escorts for our erstwhile diplomats. That's stunning towards the wall.
Indeed.
You can go ahead and head over next door. Get cozy again. Let them know that you're going to be leaving in a few minutes. I'm going to go straighten things out with the boss, and we'll get you out the door.
Excellent.
Where you going?
Pause.
She'll step over.
Pause. Nereus.
I'll pause and talk to Cassilian for a second. Thank you.
No problem.
It was good working as a group. I hope to see you again.
I'm sure we'll see a lot of each other in the coming days.
Yes. And I'm going to turn and walk away.
So, the three of you head over, directed by the Republic troops, into the other room. Of course, Wrath and Vasi, the doors slide open. The three of them enter. Close behind them.
Well, that was a fun couple hours.
Indeed. Shall we leave?
Let's.
Takes a few more minutes before Cassilian comes back to get you, but eventually you are led to the elevator. As you head towards it, Cassilian sort of looks back at the group of you. Welcome to the front door. And he just kind of gestures over as the slides open.
This is much easier.
You see the at this point there's about 4 maintenance droids over by the ladder. 2 of them are holding up 2 more, each of which has a welder and some replacement rails that they're sort of welding in place to fix the ladder.
Thank you. We'll be in touch.
Yep, sure you will be. He salutes and waves. The group of you get into the elevator. He sort of leans in, looks up at the roof of the elevator, and looks around at it. Just so you're aware, once you get beyond this elevator, keep your lips sealed about the location and everything.
Of course.
All right. May the force be with you. He leans back out.
And also with you.
Closes on Cassilian.
All right.
Or
Let's go see how our 13th are doing.
the elevator. Eventually, you make your way back into the cantina proper.
And then out.
And then out.
Yep.
You head out. The ironclad 13s are waiting in various, at first it's hard to tell where they're at. But then you see that there's a guy over by a sunglasses. There's a guy over by like a glasses stall. It's like trying on a variety of different sunglasses, looking in a mirror away from the door to be inconspicuous. The only problem is the assault rifle strapped across his back. He's like using the mirror to covertly watch the entrance to the cantina, but you can see the assault. But that just makes the assault rifle more visible.
Mm-hmm.
Corserath very pointedly as he's walking puts the lower end of his mask back on with that very loud like hydraulic hissing noise that they make when they connect, that sort of
Jack, if you were saying something that come through.
Oh, I was just saying, he probably looks like Cable wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
Yes, basically. As you regroup with your escort, that's where we are going to take a break. If you're watching on Twitch, please stay tuned for these commercial messages. And also remember, when we take our break, you take your break. So stand up, stretch your legs, move around, do whatever you need to do. Bug a room. And we'll be back in just a few minutes. we're back. A dinosaur story. So, you all regroup outside, collect your erstwhile escort. Where you going next?
Erstwhile is the right word for it. All right, gentlemen, I believe it's time to return back to our thief taker.
Did you find the information you were looking for?
Definitely.
All right, lads. Let's get the Sith Lords home safe. They fallen around you. Begin escorting you back.
Remember, acquiring a transport does not necessitate holding people at gunpoint.
No need to worry about that, sir. He says as you get out to the taxi cab and see that one of them have already acquired a taxi.
Well done.
There's no driver in
efficient.
it other than the other than the soldier, but they had it prepped.
Is it just the same taxi that they took last
No,
time?
it's a different taxi.
They held somebody at gunpoint while we weren't looking.
Yes.
Or murdered someone for all we
I
know.
mean, generally, when you murder somebody, first you hold them at gunpoint. They just might not notice that part.
Like, it's not murder if the ground kills them, okay?
So if you throw them off Nar Shaddaa, it's going to be a long time before anything finds them.
There are many ways to murder people that do not involve guns.
True.
I wonder if they've
Lightsabers,
ever depicted the
knives,
Ground floor of Nar
crowbars.
Shaddaa, like in a comic or anything.
You want to find out?
I almost certainly.
Absolutely, they have. In fact, isn't that where I want to say Maul ended up there at some point?
Nah, he was on some reclamation planet, I think.
Yeah.
If you're
it
talking about the
wasn't.
Clone Wars.
Which is
Name.
particularly weird considering that he died on Naboo.
And then somehow ended up on a salvage planet somewhere else.
Yeah,
Yep.
died on
Mhm.
Naboo, somehow ended up in a in a garbage heap on a different planet.
Look,
Hey, man.
weird shit happens sometimes.
All right. So we make our reports to the thief taker, and then see what other assignments she has for us. Routing out the Republic cell that's hiding in Shadowtown somewhere, yes? When they try and make their rescue?
Yes. It seems like.
Excellent.
I'm starting to agree. This is getting a little needlessly complicated. Can't remember who said that, but I agree with you now.
Establishing bona fides is always a bit of a laborious process. in my
I know.
experience.
I'm happy to do it. Well, no. I am perfectly willing to do it. I wouldn't say that I'm happy to do it. Always the worst part of the job.
I agree with you. There seems to be a lot of jumping through hoops.
Sort of thing that you do when you have to establish yourself with everyone.
It's getting to be annoying.
Basia has had to do two things and is already annoyed.
I mean, also fair.
Two things, neither of which were being able to fight somebody.
Right.
This is the Rancor. You are escorted back via taxi. After we will fast forward. Or actually no, it's Star Wars. We will star wipe.
Good old dissolve.
Yeah, we'll do a cross dissolve and find you back on the elevator heading down into the Sith the Imperial listening post.
And I am correct that Cassilian told us we could tell him where the listening post was,
That's
right?
correct, yep.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, he said it won't matter. We'll be gone in 2 days, basically. All All right. Yep. You step out of the elevator into the Sith Empire listening post. The thief taker turns back around to look at you expectantly. Well, you certainly were quick and efficient.
That is how we like to do things, yes.
Oh, tell me, what have you found?
There's a broom closet in the side door of the slippery slope cantina that happens to lead to an elevator to a maintenance shaft that you can find a organization that shouldn't be therein.
Raises an eyebrow at you. Well, that's a very specific amount of information. Perchance, how did you come across it?
Republic minds are not well shielded, we'll say.
Make a deception check. Difficulty 3.
I mean, he's not lying. Like,
That's not how you got the information. It's a
No.
lie. It's a lie by implication.
It's deception.
Yeah.
Right side.
oh, well, flip a light side, yeah.
And she is very good at seeing through lies.
Deception. I have a success.
One success is what you need. He gives you a long, hard look, and several of you get that uncomfortable feeling that you might get caught. As a sort of like just a tense moment passes. Very well. If the Force has provided you with some amount of insight, then who am I to say no? We will, of course, verify this information. It'll do for now.
They're not very good at hiding the fact that they're Republic troopers, I should add.
Well, troopers are very not good at hiding in general. He says,
So I've
looking,
gathered.
just looking past you at the captain of the escorts that are standing behind you, sort of standing at attention.
Yes, I can't help but feel that our escort was actually more of a favor to you.
No reaction from her face. Well, we'll verify this information, and if it checks out, then we will consider you in good graces with our esteemed overseer. And I will pass along your request.
If there are a few days between now and the operation itself, is there anything we can do to be of use in the meantime?
I'm certain a tavern somewhere has an infestation of rats that could be killed.
We'll
There's
wait
an
to hear from
eyebrow
you then.
raise.
Sorry, what was that, Jack?
We'll wait to hear from you then.
She nods her head. You're free to go.
Delightful as always.
Jash will
I
give
move
her a
to go.
salute before he goes.
Mhm.
Specifically a Chiss ascendancy one.
Vazi is gonna glare at her.
She completely unaffected by the glare.
I leave.
Yeah, I'm gone.
Corsarat's eyebrow raise is another one of those, like, you have guts. I'm pray they don't end up on the floor, but I like them.
You can tell, of course, Wrath, from your previous experience in Imperial Intelligence, this is someone that at some point operated as a cipher.
Mm-hmm.
They're not necessarily a cipher anymore, but they have cipher training.
Yeah. He will turn and make his way out.
All right, we can review leave. You find yourselves back out in the alleyway. Your escort, blessedly, not there anymore. You are in an alleyway in the exterior defensive wall of Shadowtown.
Needs a drink.
The job to do here. We're not done.
At
No,
some
no, we're
point.
not.
Did I say any? Did I contradict that?
No, not mutually exclusive.
We need to get in to find this secret cell.
Mhm.
By all means, lead the way.
I do not know where we're going.
That's
Very-
exactly.
Yep.
Yes.
That is
What?
the point, yes.
We're going to go handle some flesh bag needs in the meantime and figure out a plan, I should think.
Right.
Would you care to come along?
It is where we're going. We're going. Where are we going to find a bar? Here? Or where we were
Yes.
before?
I think our operations will largely be in this region for the next couple of days,
And it would
in case
probably
we
behoove
find any
ourselves to
leads.
right.
remain familiar with the operation area.
We perhaps find a place to stay.
In all probability,
We will need rest at some point.
indeed.
All right. You find yourselves to an inn. There are several kinds of inn. Fine, because again, even though this is a defensive facade, it is still a facade, and that has to be upkept. There are a few of the more sort of larger, well-kept inns that have individual rooms, and there are a few pod hotels, which are basically your room is a pod in the wall. What you're looking at?
Jash is
It'll serve
broke.
for resting. Corsorath is far from broke.
You don't have those credits yet.
I already
I-
transferred them.
No, you agreed to the settlement. You get the trade.
No, not those. The hut credits that I have.
Right. Sorry. I was thinking about the Republic credits.
No, if we had those credits, we'd just be leaving Narshada and going to a decent fucking doctor.
Also
Yep.
fair. Also fair. 100,000 Republic credits.
We'd just be like, nope, done with this.
All right. Well, you all have fun.
No, I've got 9,500 cartel credits.
Yeah, to give you all an idea about how many credits 100,000 Republic credits are, Qui-Gon Jinn wanted to buy a ship for 50,000 credits.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, we're good then.
Oh, I am under no illusions that we'll actually end up in possession of those credits. No.
What you do? There is a future where you could get those credits. Of course, Wrath and Avasti would have to go to Coruscant and repent
Right.
their
Or at least
sins.
begin the trip to Coruscant.
You get it when you get to Coruscant.
I do not recommend we
Yeah,
go
that's
to
definitely
Coruscant.
that's definitely a
No.
cash on delivery type of arrangement.
Not
yeah.
going there.
Go to Coruscant. Are you going to repent for being Sith? I never was a Sith, actually, at least not under my own control.
That sounds like semantics. Semantics are of the dark side.
Actually, no, I believe you're the ones that say that absolutes are of the dark side. Semantics
was-
are important.
That was one person. That was one person who said that. And yet
One of the masters, wasn't
born
it?
yet.
Hasn't been born yet.
Yagma evolves. That's all I'm saying.
Semantics feels like a very light side thing.
Also, I mean, really, what is of the dark side is whatever the light side decides is of the dark side at the time.
Right.
Pretty much.
Similarly, whatever is of the light side is what the dark side decides is of the light side at the time.
So we
What
can
we're
definitely get a
saying is-
hotel room.
Yeah.
Yes.
What we're saying is they're both switches.
Yes.
Not a top among them. Anyways, So yeah, you can get a hotel room. The question is, do you want to get a pod hotel, which is smaller, less secure, but also less likely to be monitored, or a posh, fancy hotel that is larger, more comfortable, but definitely monitored?
Let's just get a pod hotel. It'll be the place where we rest. We don't have to spend all our time there.
Fair enough.
All right, you get a pod. You rent out some rooms at a pod motel, or you rent out some pods at a pod motel. The pod
Okay.
motel also has a dining area and a droid recharging area if Nereus so chooses to use the thing.
Yep.
How many credits does it put me back for a couple of nights?
This will only be about 100 credits a night.
So we're waiting, what, 2 days for the operation? So I'll pay for 2 nights.
For everyone?
Yeah.
5, so that's 1,000 credits basically.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 5 rooms. Yeah.
5.
Unless unless
4
no,
pod,
4 rooms.
4 pods in the charging station.
Oh, okay, charging station. Of course they charge you to charge your droids.
Electricity
Oh, yeah.
costs money. This is
Mhm.
Nar Shaddaa. You think it's made of electricity?
Yes.
I'm gonna pay for my own charging station. How much is it?
100 credits a night.
Okay. Damn it.
You know, droids are sentient enough and are sentient enough to enjoy a nice rest, which means they are sentient enough to be monetized.
I pay for 1 night
Welcome
because
to-
that's all I have.
Nar Shaddaa.
It's a 60 credits.
Actually, that's a good point. That's something that we never established. Do I have any money?
Yes, you do have some money. Hang on.
Okay.
Let me figure that out for you real quick.
That's one thing we never figured. I figure I do because I'd have to be able to get stuff while I was out doing.
While you're
shit
figuring
for
that
them.
out,
We'll say you've got 10,000
Cash-
credits.
10,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
while you're figuring that out, Jash wants to talk to Neres at some point.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I slide 100 credits across. And then that's all I have. So I do not pay for a second night. I pay for 1 night.
It's like
The end.
it's not even like a counter. It's like it's a slot machine. So you just, like
I'm
you-
poking those.
you put your
those
chit in
to-
and just
yeah,
watch the credits
uh-huh.
go away, and then that powers up.
And then I turn and look at Josh.
It's like a quarter slot.
'Cause you're right there. What?
A word, if you don't mind.
Yes.
And if Neres doesn't seem to be moving, Jash will literally grab their arm and start pulling them off to one side.
Okay. I'll go with.
I'm uncertain about your mindset since we have left the most recent planet we were on before this moon.
I am nervous. I am always nervous. This is
Yes.
this is nerve-wracking.
Of course. And that I am used to.
I am attempting to stay calm.
Well done.
Thank you.
You seem. Forgive me if I'm overstepping or misinterpreting. You seem intent on staying on the outside.
Yes.
May I ask why you choose that?
Why are you asking this?
As far as I care, you are still Jineri Zardoon. No matter what encases your mind, you are one of my people.
We are moving in circles, though, where that is not assumed to be the case. We are doing a lot of things right now to try, and I am trying to help you all get out of a potential explosion.
Yes.
That is where
But-
I am.
But you are staying outside even when we are not in those circles actively.
Because I do not know where you all are. We have not discussed anything about what is happening to the order. There are, as I count really quickly, Mara counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 to 6, depending on how you count it, of us remaining, possibly more, as evidenced by our running into this former colleague. I want it to survive.
You cannot help it survive from the outside. If rebuilding the order is what you wish, there will need to be a nexus around which things gather. This is not something that you stay separate from and attempt to build.
I see.
And yes, we have had possibly less important but more urgent priorities on our mind. And he taps himself on the ribs. But this is an opportunity that should be bringing us closer together, not pushing you to the fringe.
I need to see if the others agree. Esty, I do not know.
Esty may make up her own mind about things, yes. Starting with Corsorath and Avasia may be wisest.
All right.
I'm glad you know what you want. That is less common than one might think.
I go to rejoin with Dash, the rest of the group.
All right. You have all inserted credits into a variety of quarter slot-like devices that have provided you with access to capsules to sleep in, as well as food and drink vouchers that you can turn in at the food court to get food and drink. You eat. You drink. Some of you more than others. Anything happening before you go to sleep?
About how much time's left in the day?
I mean, Narshada doesn't really have a day-night cycle.
Okay.
It's always the same.
How long have we been
time
awake?
period. But you've been traveling for a while throughout the day. It's definitely been a long day at this point.
Okay.
Now, if you did have a day-night cycle, it would be approaching what you would consider to be night if you considered the entire day to have been a day.
Okay.
Yeah,
Once Jash has his pod, then yeah, he'll just tell everybody if they need anything, this is where I'm at, and go meditate and sleep then.
You've seen these kinds of beds before, like you, the player, where it's
Mhm.
basically it's just like a door that folds open in a wall that you
Mhm.
climb into, and it's
Right.
just big enough for you to kind of sit up,
Right.
but otherwise no.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of
Mhm.
there's a terminal above you that you can utilize, interact with. Obviously,
But it's
browse the
basically
map.
a horizontal sleeping coffin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lovely. I want one.
So, how many rooms am I actually paying for? Is it just mine and mine and Avasia's and Jash's, or am I also paying for Estes and the second day of?
You
No,
will need to pay for my second
she
day.
will pay for hers.
All right. So, 2 rooms, one for Avasia and Corserath, and one for Jash.
There's not enough room in one of these pods for 2 people.
Okay, so 2 then, so 3 then.
It's not that. Nowhere near enough room for 2 people.
600,
Jawas,
700.
maybe.
Particularly not someone as jacked as Avasia.
So 700 credits for the 2 nights then.
Mhm.
And, like, Avasia takes up all the spare room in her pod.
Good enough.
All right. Well, you all climb into your pods, respectively. One of you climbs into a charging station.
Yep. Buzzing.
You all
Electricity.
sleep.
The twist is it's me.
She just bonks herself on the nose and folds up like a pit droid. Everyone screams.
Oh, did I not tell you about that?
No.
The body horror of a humanoid folding up like a pit droid.
Oh yeah, that would be. You would empty that place out real fucking quick. Just screaming
what-
and running.
That's when Cronenberg finally directs a Star Wars film.
Yes.
No,
Either one, David or Brandon. Either one.
the battle droids have actual blood.
God, why does the robot have blood?
Why are we programmed to feel pain?
I don't know. Ask Torb.
Good question. The answer is because pain is a vital sense for sentient species. It is one of our danger sensing mechanisms, and an entity that cannot feel pain would not survive very long in most situations, particularly in combat.
He programs the training droids in the training facility that are specifically designed to be killed to feel pain.
You have to know that you're doing your job right.
That's for the player. That's for you. It's no fun to kill things that don't feel pain.
Oh,
That argument works for battle droids. It does not work for the training droids. Anyways, you all get along. You all get a night's rest. You restore your strain. You restore your wounds that have any of those. And several of you have a dream. Nerees,
Oh boy.
as you're powered down,
Yep.
the dull orange overlay that you're accustomed to having on your vision peels away. And you have just sort of a clean view of the world. You see a blue light swirling around like a mist. Surrounds you. It flows through you into others' space around you. And through this light, feel warmth. Feel a sense of familiarity. And just the vaguest sense of a figure in a cloudy shape in front of you. Something watching you. Something watching out for you. Intangible, but there. Josh. Feel cold, separate, distant, like a watcher on a hill. You see before you dots of light, small point, light up into a starscape. And you watch this flow of blue mist connect dots. At first you think it's forming a constellation, but then you realize it's forming a chart, a path between stars, connecting one star, another, and another, and another, and another, until it ends. You don't recognize the starscape, but there's an end on the edge of the field. It just pulses with this blue light. Korsarath. You sense darkness in your sleep. A wave of blackness, shadow and mist, roiling through your vision. Similarly, you see a starscape before you, and a single bright point of light in the upper right-hand corner from what you're looking at. There's a pulse, and that wave of darkness that you sensed ripples out across the rest of the star field, and you watch as point of light after point of light vanishes rapidly as this darkness devours all light, except for the one that it originated at, which glows all the more brightly. Avasia. You sense pain. You sense trauma. Physical act of destruction. There is this red mist that you see flowing around you, through you, connecting you to others. And it coalesces into a figure. Tall, imposing, broad-shouldered. And you can almost see the lightsaber ignite in the mist. Something challenging you. Esty.
Yo.
It's been a while since you had a force vision. They you didn't have them a lot, except when you were younger. But you sense several strong points of light surrounding you. 5 in total, forming a pentagram around you. The lights all connect with this purplish tether of mist. One to another, to another, to another, to another.
Mm-hmm.
And you see small threads spiraling off each one. You're surrounded by a starscape, and each tether touches a point of light, touches a different point of light. And you can see all of the threads and how they connect. But you know that they cannot see themselves and how they interconnect. You have no idea what it means, but get this as you sleep. And all of you, collectively, feel a pressure. Something growing. Something hungry. You feel the hunger radiate through the galaxy. This wordless, fathomless desire to devour all. And you wake up. All of you come to inside your pods. Several of you forgetting that you're in pods and try to just sort of get up and head.
Oh.
Good morning. Gonna go and knock on everyone's
Ting, 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 ting.
team meeting.
Mm.
Team meeting. I move very quickly away from Vasius after I do that. In
Just
case
saber blade through
she's-
the door.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't think she'd be able to. Like, I've seen like the dimensions, and I don't think she'd be able to get it up really fast. But like, possibly. So, I'm not taking chances.
Are we not doing phrasing anymore?
Never underestimate how swiftly someone can get it up real fast.
Just,
I didn't think that one through.
Rath's pod door opens and he just kind of puts a hand up and just shoves and slides out in one swift motion and just leans up into a standing position.
Very dramatic. You look like a vampire. Team meeting.
What are those?
I will send you a book.
and that is how Korsrath got addicted to the Twilight.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Why do these things sparkle when contacting UV radiation?
Do not question. Just
It's so
enjoy.
bad, but I
they're
can't
made
stop
of-
reading.
They're
I'm
made
obsessed.
of minerals.
Which, by the way, is literally everybody I've ever spoken to who's read those books. It's the exact same reaction. They're so bad. I hate them. Why do I keep reading them?
Oh, I couldn't. I DNR'd those, but I am very amused that this is.
I read through like 3 chapters and was like, this is trash, and put it away.
I've sadly read them all.
Nice.
I read them all too.
I just picture you as like sitting
forced
there.
myself through it. It was interesting.
I'm just picturing Holly sitting
Not
there
my least favorite book.
with with a book like on the fifth to last page, just muttering to yourself, "Why am I doing this to myself?"
Oh no. And then after that, I got Austin to read them.
Yes, that is the correct thing to do.
Why do we
I
experience
read this,
pain?
so you must read it too.
You must now experience.
Yes.
Why do we experience
So-
pain? To inflict it on others.
Exactly.
Jack, is your least favorite book you've ever read anything by E.L. James or The Little People?
Ready Player One.
Mm,
I should have known that.
I did know that.
I should have known that.
The worst book I ever read was actually the sequel to Ender's Game, where after committing a genocide, the main character goes on to be a white savior for all the aliens he killed.
Are we talking about the worst book we've read or the worst book we've completed? Because those are two separate things.
I
The
completed
worst
that
book
one.
I've ever read and not completed was the first Wheel of Time book, Don't At Me.
Adding you so hard right now.
The worst book I've ever completed is the third book in Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman's Dark Sword trilogy. Also, Don't At Me.
How do you all remember these terrible books? I do not. I put them out of my brain.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Like I know
haven't-
like a handful of bad books that I've read, and
Because
not a lot.
Because
more
I
than
go
that.
out of my way to not read bad books, and so I haven't read very many books that I consider bad. So the ones that I have that I remember.
Well, that's the thing is, it's like movies. Like I've seen thousands of movies, and I couldn't tell you if I've seen most of the middling ones, but the bad ones, I remember the bad
Oh,
ones.
I remember bad movies. I just don't remember bad books. Those are not in there. Team meeting.
Yeah.
Corsair's next thought: how well would this creature's mineral composition stand up to a lightsaber?
Only one way to find out.
I don't know
That's
if
right.
these
Drag
things are.
myself out.
That's a Twilight movie I want to see. Like in the middle of
Yeah,
in the middle
Mullins
of
versus
like
that's what
Jedi.
I'll watch.
well, no, like in the middle of Edward, moping on screen, you just in the background you just see a shape step in, and then
Look,
red,
all I'm
red
saying is,
lightsaber ignites.
if you want to enjoy your Twilight viewing experience, just watch them with Robert Pattinson's audio commentary
Yes.
on.
That I have heard is that Robert Pattinson
Amazing.
and is it
Kristen
Kristen
Stewart.
Chenoweth?
Kristen
Yeah, and
Stewart.
Kristen
Stewart.
Stewart.
Very
Different
Kristen Stewart
Kristen.
and
No!
Kristen Chenoweth.
No, William.
Different Kristen.
Bad William.
I don't know. I'd watch Twilight movies with Kristen Chenoweth. in it.
I would absolutely watch the Twilight movies with Bella Swan played by Kristen Chenoweth. Absolutely.
I wouldn't, because I don't want to see her have all of her charisma removed like happened with Kristen Stewart.
Yeah, no, I love Kristen Chenoweth. Bad William.
Anyways,
They have the same first name and equally weird last names.
Stewart?
Stewart's
Yes.
not as weird as Chenoweth.
Stewart is not a weird name in the slightest.
All right,
Hey,
we've
we're having
tangented
a meeting,
hard.
right?
There's a family meeting happening.
Okay, but we're getting back to this. Stewart is a unusual, unique name.
Let's have a meeting.
Ah,
first.
yes, the uniquely named John Stewart.
Right.
So, planning.
Right.
Josh looks back and forth. Is there anybody nearby eavesdropping on us?
Make a perception check, difficulty 2.
All right.
You know what I forgot to do? I forgot that
many
I could.
things.
I forgot that when I was rolling that deception check earlier, I could have also added my force die to it.
One success.
Then you would have used the Force to try to deceive someone. One success. It doesn't seem like there's anybody listening in on you, though there are definitely people close. Like it's not a large space that you're in.
I am paranoid as a rule, so I am also making this check, I should say.
What?
I'm apparently very well rested. And that's it.
Similarly, like you don't detect anybody that's like specifically listening to you, but again, it's not a large
Yeah.
space.
Caution, but go on.
We're
So
talking about a plan for what to do, how to do what we need to do as quickly as we can, and then get the fuck off this garbage fire of a planet.
yes. Also, slightly, since I think it may affect how we handle things here, as far as because we are involved with several groups in this conflict, how we wish to proceed and where we wish to proceed with the Twilight Order, which is as the group we were all involved with before.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I yeah.
Yes. All right, you were told. I could not remember.
No,
I
no,
think
you're good.
I don't think there is a Twilight Order anymore.
I think we are all here.
I mean, yeah, there is. You're looking at them. Unless you decide there's not. That's you guys decide.
Before we start speaking of things with proper nouns, may I remind everyone that I do not believe we are viewed with full confidence by everyone in the near distance of our current location.
No. I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew what we were speaking of. We can use terms now. So I think it still exists. I would like it to continue to exist.
I don't know that there's anything that will make it stop existing aside from universal obliteration.
I mean, outsider perspective here, but is it fair to say that outside of random people popping up like did yesterday, this is it?
That we know of.
There might be some others scattered, but we're not aware.
I mean, I do not have this training, but we can maybe try to seek some more out.
I think
It
we
was
need to
very
finish our
chaotic.
business here first.
Yes, absolutely.
So I guess whether it exists or not right now is up to gestures vaguely.
I say it does.
More
That's right.
important than that, there will always be those who walk between the two extremes. And so long as those people exist, there will always be those like us.
There are a lot of people who are not on one side or the other who are fucking nothing like you people.
And
Like
maybe.
there's a difference between not exactly devoted to one side or the other and an organization with a specific philosophy, which sounds to me what Nerys is talking about. Not even necessarily the organization, but the philosophy, the mindset. There's a lot of people out there who don't have that. I don't know how many people are out there who have, to be fair, I don't know what the philosophy is, but have your guys's.
Yes, you
thing.
don't know.
Quite
Right.
simply, at the core, it is that there are not two, but two halves of one.
There's some.
Avazia will stare at Esty for a minute. What's your name?
Sorry, what?
Your name.
My name?
I can't seem to remember it.
Are you leading somewhere with this?
No,
She has
I'm
forgotten
not.
your name.
Okay, my name is Esty.
Good to know.
Was that all you had to contribute? Great, awesome. So,
I love
I love
She
Avasia.
could not
I love-
remember her name.
I love Avasia so much. But great, awesome. So, what was I even about to say?
That question threw you so off guard it completely wiped your brain.
It really did.
She has a habit of doing that.
Most excellent.
Like, that would be like arguing that the Night Sisters and the Sith are the same thing. They're not. Really not.
It is not that they are the same thing, but they are two parts of.
Yes, no, absolutely.
They're
The point that I'm trying to make is that they're saying that your organization lives on. You can either do that the passive, philosophical, theoretical way that just accepts it, or you can say, no, it lives on, and you can take that shit by the balls and make it live on. One is making a choice, the other is just letting it happen.
I am making a choice.
There you go.
It's also noted that you don't have to not do both. Do what you can, but be content in the knowledge that it will continue regardless. That is balance. If you try and do everything, you will simply crush yourself when you're not able to do what you wanted.
You're not wrong there. And I promise, I'm not specific. This is not a passive aggressive insult, but a lot of people would also use that as a way to not make a choice and not commit to doing something and setting yourself up for failure. I promise that's not trying to say that's what you're trying to do.
Yes.
There's a danger in that route.
There is. And there's a danger in every route. It's different each time, and it's on a different scale. But I choose not to burn myself out eternally chasing to rebuild the order when the things the order wanted to achieve, the tasks it had before it, lay in front of us. I would rather do what the order was set out to do than try and rebuild it from the ground up, knowing that I am no teacher.
That's the stance. Anybody else?
I'm not sure I would even want to be part of it anymore.
Why?
It's complicated right now.
Yes. Why?
Nerees is like, bitch, don't emo me.
I think I need some time to myself to work through what has happened over the past 6 months.
It's fair. Mari, I think you might have tried to say something and it was muted.
Oh, I said I see.
Oh.
Josh?
The galaxy is at a higher level of turmoil now than it has always been. Open war with two distinct sides that both feel compelled to draw strict lines for who and what is acceptable to each. I can see the value in having an organization willing to straddle those lines, both for its own members and for those who are victimized by the ongoing conflict. That is my calculated, disinterested academic position on the possible benefits of having the Twilight Order or something akin to it pursued with an eye towards reestablishment. On a personal level. I am no stranger to having one's home reject who I am as an individual being. The former leader of the Twilight Order was under similar aspersions, as Nerees would have been before. It is my intent that as my family, Nerees will have my company wherever they decide to go. And whatever they decide to pursue. I believe we will welcome any of you that wish to join us. But if your paths lead you elsewhere, we will not feel betrayed or rejected. And should you ever need our assistance after such a divergence, we will be ready to help. I believe that covers it.
I am a healer. I wish to help. Nerys looks at Avazia.
She'll raise an eyebrow.
Whatever
Me.
the ultimate outcome.
Me specifically, or you wish to help? Everything, everyone.
I am not able to do that. Not everyone. Can't even get up a ladder. Down a ladder. Up either direction.
You got down quite well, actually, from what I hear.
The ladder sort of broke. Let us not talk about the ladder.
Still ended up where you wanted to be.
I mean, it was the ladder's fault.
He still needs space. We can finish this mission.
Yes, let's do that.
Right. So, more planning. I don't know if we want to stop there because it's
My
That's
plan
kind
is to take this day and wander and see what the force lands in my lap.
It's a good plan.
As good a plan as any at the moment.
Why not?
Nerys.
Just saying, if you sit down, you'll find out what lands in your lap.
You have a message incoming.
oh, I receive it.
It's just an image.
Okay.
It's an image of a Sith fleet in orbit over Nar Shaddaa.
Oh,
And the words and a message from the Black Pyramid. It just says, "Stay low."
understood.
And that's where we're going to end for the week. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Hey.
Goodbye.